Thanks, babe. Anyway, so all right, now it's time. Woo!
Number one.
Demon Souls. Woo! But yeah, and the one on the PS5, not the PS3. Sorry. That's all I had. And really, the Demon Souls remake was the only reason why I wanted the PS5. So, yeah, sorry. I can't really nitpick on why the PS3 version is better than the PS5 version, but I guess that's a different video if you want it. Look, here's a video right here. That's right, there's nothing in my hand. Cause I'm the only fucking video you're gonna watch. But honestly, even with the PS5 flaws and all that you may be able to nitpick, or really nitpick, or if it's not a nitpick, if it's an actual problem.
Fuck off. Come on. Fight me like a man. Stop. What the hell is going on with this guy?
But either way, even with all of its flaws that it supposedly has, I had a good time. I think the game is honestly incredibly fun. Like, it's honestly astounding to me how much this game really got right on its first attempt. Sure, there's annoying things that the game does that does kind of boggle the mind. Like, the grass system is stupid.
Well, I guess I'm gonna just try to never heal ever again.
And why they brought that back for Bloodborne, I don't know.
You figured it out with Dark Souls. You didn't need to bring it back for Bloodborne.
That's the fact that everything you pick up is added to your weight, which then can exceed your weight,
Damn it.
which then you have to go to the menu and grab random things and then go give them to some random guy that sometimes, oh, I actually need this item, but I'm gonna have to go back to the sanctuary, whatever it's called, fuck you. And then you have to go to the guy and say and hear about his daughter. Shut the fuck up, dude. Let me grab my supplies. Like, to this day, like, everybody asks why they added that system. Fucking, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, because that part is unfun. But everything else is a blast. Oh yeah. There's also the fact that you can only dodge 4 ways, and that there's some bad levels. But other than that, it's fantastic. Listen, there's one bad archstone in this game, and I know it's supposed to be the hardest, but still really bad. And that's the Archstone of Chieftain. Holy shit, it starts off bad with the Valley of Defilement. Oh my god! First, you go through the Swamp of Sorrow. This level is so unfun with tight ledges, cunning level design, and darkness and poison. Cause poison is the theme of this Archstone. Aren't you excited? And then 15,000 enemies in this fucking part, with one part even having like little tiny rats that is impossible to hit. But don't worry, they'll hit you. And guess what happens if they hit you enough times? That's right, poison. And then once you go through there, you go through the white door again. And then you fight the boss. And you'll probably die at this boss, because guess what? He shoots a little bug army at you that causes damage even after the initial hit. So you'll be continually taking damage. Even while you're trying to heal up, he'll shoot you. And guess what? You'll probably die your first time. And once you die, you get to do it all again. But then once you go down there and you fight him face to face, god damn, you can make him your bottom bitch. God damn it, he's fucking pathetic. You take advantage of him. You slap him around, you're like your little slut. The little slut he is. And then whenever you do that, you completed the whole level. Feels so good. But then after that, you go through a little cave, and then you go through, it's like, oh, it's not that bad. Then you get expanded to the whole shit heap, which is this level. And you think, oh man. Then you crawl along the cliffside. Oh, it's not too bad. I'm gonna jump. Oh, there's a little mouse enemy. Oh, I killed him. But yeah, you go through that cliffside, and there's a few mouse enemies here and there, no big deal. And then you jump down. There's like a little place where it's just like a rock. And there's a couple of rat enemies there, but no big deal. They're easy. But then after that, guess what? Do you know how long it takes to go from the beginning all the way to the shortcut? 15 minutes. I could prove it right here. Yeah, that's right. It takes that long if you're rushing through it. Though the problem is, the first time you go through it, you have no goddamn idea of how to get through it. So first off, you go through the defilement, I guess you would call it. And that would be the swamp that completely slows you down. And fucking Miyazaki with his I need to put the I don't know. He wants us all to be in pain. I don't know what is up with that fucking guy, but he always puts in these goddamn stupid poisonous swamp levels, and every time we're like, please don't do it, please, please, Miyazaki-san. He's like, okay. How about 16 fucking swamp levels? How am I supposed to deal with this all the time? But this one's the worst. This one has to be the worst. Because you're just crawling through a swamp level with nothing. Like, it takes 10 minutes of going through it, and there's nothing throughout those 10 minutes. It is the most empty land, with, I guess, some starbursts. But they're no big deal at all. Like, it's honestly laughable if you get hit by them. You should quit the game by then. Then you go through it and you're like, oh, there's some stuff over there. Let me walk over there and get some good old supplies. Well, guess what? Bam. Someone invaded you. Yeah, a lovely woman invaded you. And guess what will probably happen? Oh yeah, that's right. You die. Because you don't know how to fight her. And you're slow as fuck. And you can't roll properly because you're fat rolling everywhere, which ruins your... Thank you! Once you die, you go through it all again. And you know what? If you're smart, this time you will learn your lesson. You'll be like, that place is stanky. You know what? I will fight that. Then you keep going forward, and then you meet a couple of rat friends. 2 little rat friends and a big rat friend. Ooh. Hi little big rat. So you're like, okay, well then I'm gonna try and bait out 2 of the little rats, and then we'll fight the big rat, which is very good on you. Good on you. Good on you. That is great. Now, what you don't know is that sometimes the big rat will even see you. He'll notice you. Guess what happens? Then you have 3 rat fucks who's trying to kill you, and you're gonna be panic rolling into the goddamn swamp again. And guess what? If you die there, well, have fun going through the goddamn swamp again. You're welcome. Guess what? That's what you fucking pay this money for, is to have fun. You have fun. Aren't you fucking having fun, huh? You're fucking having fun, aren't you? You're having so much fun. You're having all the fun, aren't you? Aren't you? But then you go through them and you're like, oh, well, I defeated him. I guess I better go on this rickety old bridge. And you go down the rickety old bridge, and at first it's like, oh, there's not too many enemies. Some rat folks, some flying enemies, they're annoying, but whatever. You can either run past all of them, or you can fight them. Either way, it's not really too hard. It's just there's a lot of them. But if you get knocked off, guess what? You go down to the sludge again. Yes! If you go past them, then guess what? You're at the end of the bridge. You jump down. Oh, there's another little bridge. But guess what's down on the bottom? The swamp! Oh my god! At least there's like little places where you can rest and you don't have to get poisoned in that section. So that's very good. Thank you. That's awesome. That really is awesome. So you go through there, right? And you kind of take your time so that way you don't get poisoned. Well, guess what? By the end, there's like a little island over there that's guarded by 2 big rat fellows. If you go after one, you get to fight both. Yippee! So then you have to deal with them. And then there's some other rat fucker who sprays out a poisonous mist. Yes, that's what this game needed. This is my problem with any Dark Souls game, is it doesn't have enough poison. Where's the goddamn poison? I always ask and I never get an answer. Where the goddamn flip is my poison? And they gave it to me? Oh my god, that's so nice of them. But then guess what? If you die to them, well then you get to do all of that again. If you made it that far, you'll probably beat it. I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. I promise. But once you get past those people, then you go to a little valley filled with rat people. And guess what? It's really fucking hard to navigate that place. But once you do navigate through it, you're like, oh, white fog? Wow, maybe this place will lead me to another archstone, so I'll have a good old time. Wow, I'll have like a place to rest and I'll be able to chip out all these souls, and it's a boss. You fight a fun boss, right? Right? No. But he's really easy, so I don't mind. But if you just go through the valley and you keep on going, and then you find a cliffside, right? And then on that cliffside, you just keep walking down that cliffside, and then you'll activate the shortcut. And once you activate that shortcut, it'll be so satisfying. Fuck you right to your goddamn fucking you shit ass motherfucker, bitch ass fucking pussy bitch, fucking pussy bitch ass fucker bitch, cunt, you absolute fuck you. But then you figure out you have another part of the level. Just really sad because whenever you go through the level, it's another poison wasteland. But there's 2 options. Option 1, you fight an invader, kind of. He's not really an invader, but he's an invader. There's option 1. Option 2, you skip him and then fight the woman. And whenever you go down to the woman, it's honestly very sad. it's sad in a way where it's like she's just kind of pathetic. She's just like a woman who's lying there. And it's really sad to go up to her and just end her life. Now, I know there is probably lore as to why, but whenever you're just there and you're like a normal person who doesn't know why, it just feels dirty. Like, I just killed a woman and she didn't even like defend herself. And you just like think there for a little bit like, wow. That's honestly pretty sad. That brings up the problem with the archstones. Now I understand, it's not that big of a deal to me, but I understand that it is kind of mean on how few and how sometimes far in between an archstone is. Because like that, you can so easily lose like an hour to like 30 minutes of progress, like with each archstone. That's the problem. Like sometimes on Dark Souls, don't get me wrong, you'll lose a lot of progress. And you'll feel like, oh, I'm just at the beginning. But with this one, like each archstone is like pretty far from each other. And I understand, but it doesn't bother me too much because while there is that problem, at least they do give you a lot of shortcuts and they do like give you alternative paths that usually make it faster. Though that is a problem with the game, is that it is mean. Sometimes it's very downright mean. Like cruel. Cruel is the best word sometimes. It's very cruel. And another area that really pisses me off is the ritual path. This has the worst run back in Dark Souls history. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh my god. I'm sorry. Like, well, not it. I'm sorry. Like, please. I'm sorry. I know. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh no. Please. Oh my god. Okay, one of the worst runbacks in history. It starts off alright. You see a cinematic of a Skelemancer who summons a bunch of ghostly ghouls. Alright, whatever. Not that big of a deal. So you drop down and then it is a little bullshit because sometimes if you like jump down, then he'll shoot magic at you before you can even recover from the jump. But whatever. Oh no, 2 seconds of my progress was lost. What will I do? No, I better give up. But then you go on a cliff that has 2 skeletons. And it is really hard because 2 skeletons, or 1 skeleton is already hard, and then 2 skeletons on a narrow cliff, whatever.
The best way to do it is to go back on top of the mountain and then let them roll off sometimes. That's the best way to do it. Or just kill them.
Then you deal with that, whatever. And then there's one skeleton who shoots arrows at you. But then you go a little farther, and then you see two skeletons with heavy swords. Not that big of a deal. You either run past them or battle them. I'll leave the decision to you. You'll know what's best. Don't worry. Don't worry, you'll know. You'll know. I promise. You're a big boy. You go to the first ghostly ghoul and you're like, oh, another one of these guys? Well, this won't be a big problem. I've already dealt with these people. And then you see he shoots lasers, and then you'll probably die because you'll be like, when the fuck was this? When was this established? Like, he just killed me. You know now, and you learned. So you go down the steps and you're like, this time I should dodge. And then you dodge, and then you can run past him or defeat him. Not a big deal. Then you go around and then you see another one of those ghouls, and you're like, oh, I know what to do. This is easy. And then you go across one narrow corridor. That's just like a cave. You see a ghostly ghoul there. Another one that shoots lasers, and at first you have confidence. You're like, I dealt with this. I can just dodge. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I've done it. I know what to do. I'm skilled. I'm champion. So you go and you run down, right? And then you find a little skelemancer just tucked away in a corner that nobody could see. Well, guess what? If you try and defeat the ghostly ghoul, well, then the skelemancer's gonna use his magic. And the best part about that is you're dead. Because you died, you get to run all that again. And this is the part that really pisses me off, I guess, is because even if you know what to expect, it's still really hard to avoid it, to avoid dying. There is pretty much like 3 options you think of right away. First off, you'd attack the ghostly ghoul, and then you would take down the skelemancer. Well, if I try and take down the ghostly ghoul, well then the skelemancer will go ahead and shoot me with his magic. Well then, that scratches that one off. 2, you can go ahead, tank everything, and try and kill the skelemancer. But then he hits you with the melee weapon before you take him down. So that's another 1 strike off. So number 3. What's number 3? Oh, how about let's run past everything? Good idea, friend. But guess what? If you try and run past everything, well then you might get a little taste of magic while you're running down the stairs. And then all that progress you made, you have to fucking do again. And you have to keep on doing it until you pretty much get lucky. I know there is the soul remains, but if you're a normal person like me, how the fuck would you ever think of using that? Why would you think of using that? I know it is a practical tool that you could use, but I don't use items in these games all that much. So why the fuck? This is like the fucking meanest thing ever. And you'll just die and die and die. And this is like the latter part of the level. And then once you figure all that out, you have to fight the old hero. And honestly, he's not that bad. He's pretty easy. But if you die, guess what? You get to do it again! Get fucking lucky! Get lucky! But yeah, once you fight him, you get to fight the King of Storms. And that's a really cool fight. That fight is so sick. I love that fight. But then when you beat it, that's the end. Good job, you did it! You did it. But honestly, just those couple of parts are the only ones that are really bad. Other than that, I don't know, it's a perfect game. Now really, those are the only parts that are truly not enjoyable to me. Other than that, it's pretty fun. Now I know people don't like the Shrine of Storms, but honestly, like I love the skeletons, mostly because of their designs.
Honestly, these are the coolest looking skeletons in like any game. They're really, really cool. And for that, I kind of enjoyed the level. Now, I know it is another one of those maze-like, but guess what? If you can't get through it,
If you can't beat it, then just do the skip. It saves a ton of time, and it's very reliable.
and then there's the Tower of Latria. Now, sure, I know that it is another, like, kind of annoying maze-like level, but honestly, with the screams of the prisoners in the background and the lighting of the lightning like hitting the sky, it is one of the coolest levels, like just atmosphere wise. It is like one of the most like depraved settings ever, but it's so wicked that I love the level. Now, although the level design isn't that great, the atmosphere more than makes up for it, so I really like it. Even Upper Latria. Upper Latria I also really dig just because of all its wicked world design, and then all the little centipede demons that sound like malformed babies. It's weird and fucked up. But I don't know, I like it. It's really cool. It's really... And even the Archstone of the Burrow King is really fun. The only part I don't really like, although it's not that big of a deal, is how you get to the Flame Lurker. Like, what? It's stupid, but he's a really good boss fight, so it makes up for it. But other than that, it's good. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about the bosses. With only one of them being truly good, and that's the Flame Lurker. Although his moveset is punishing, he is the closest thing we have to a brawler fight, and brawler fights are honestly like my favorite kind of boss fights. So he kind of tickles my pickle. Other than him, I guess there's the old king, but man, I forgot how bad that run back was. Not only that, but it's also like long, and it's just annoying. Now, while not all the boss fights are really honestly that great, they are very unique and memorable, with a lot of them having gimmicks that you take advantage of to defeat them, with the Fool's Idol being the worst examples of, ooh, avoid the traps, hee hee hee, ooh, don't step there, ha ha ha, ooh, we show magic, hee hee, ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah, that boss fight is the worst of the gimmicks. But other than her, all the bosses are weird in a pretty charming way. Like how the first boss fight in the game is a blob monster named Phalanx. Now, I know they did this type of gimmick in other games. It to be your first boss is very weird. But also because of that, it's so much more memorable because of it. I will remember that fight for a very long time just because, like, why? But it's like kind of cool because of it. I can also hear, oh, the Vanguard is technically the first boss fight. Whatever, you're supposed to die to him, so shut up. Then you go ahead and fight another gimmick fight, with this one being with a humongous knight that just stands there, that sprays magic at you and swings his shield, with you just having to stab the back of his heels in order for him to fall down and to be able to hit his head for extra damage. This is like the coolest boss fight ever. It is so goddamn cinematic that it's truly amazing. Like that, to fight a towering beast like that, a towering beast like this, to knock him down and to hit his head, like, it is so cool. Especially the cinematic of him just like slamming down his shield. It is the coolest thing ever. And it makes you feel like a badass when you take him down. You're like, oh, wow, I did that. Wow. And it makes you feel the adrenaline. Like, this is why I play these games. And then you have the Educator, which you just have to hit a piece of blade that's launched into his stomach enough so that way he gets knocked over to hit a bird that is controlling his body. It is one of the gnarliest things ever, but it is so cool and so unique that they have never done that before. You don't get these types of bosses anymore. This was their first game, and they went so creative with it when it came to the gimmicks, the designs, and the patterns that make all the bosses truly unique in their own way. Really, the only one I purely forgot was the Penetrator, and that's just because he's some knight. Like, sorry, I didn't remember him at all. But because of this, it truly makes the game so much more special because of it. Although this game has showed its age a bit, there's a lot to admire about its creativity and how truly ambitious they were to make something like this, because nothing like this has ever been done. And if it has been done, not to this degree. Love it or hate it, there's a lot to admire about this game for how much it got right on its first attempt, and laying out the blueprint for what would be the greatest games of ever. I beat this game 3 times, and I am going
to give this game an 8.5 out of 10.
While this game is great and I really like it, I can't look past all its flaws like that. It's a very flawed game, but in
8.5
for their first attempt, that's amazing. Especially for such a pioneer of this idea.